Oh. Clear prop. People ask me all the time why I love to fly. Honestly, it's just a feeling. Flying is one of those things that is just incredible. The rush of excitement as you speed down the runway with the ground slowly escaping is like no other. When you're in the air, life has a new perspective. All your problems float away as you enter this 3D world. Hi, my name is Carson, and if you want to learn how to fly an airplane and soar among the clouds, I'm here to tell you how. Becoming a pilot is easy with enough commitment and passion. And while the price tag might seem a little intimidating, there are a lot of organizations and groups out there who are there to help. However, we'll talk about that later. For now, let's discuss what it really means to be a pilot. As pilot in command of an aircraft, you have the total responsibility for the safety of you and your passengers as you navigate airspaces, understand weather, talk to air traffic control, and so much more. Now, I know that seems a little overwhelming, but it's okay. Any flight school you go to will train you to the highest standards that you will be very proficient in knowing how to fly an airplane, and then anyone can become a pilot, just like me, a high school student. The first step to getting your license is finding a school. In the Sacramento area, there are many schools. Sacramento Executive and McClellan are just to name a few. Now, these schools will help you train and go over all the groundwork and everything that's required to get your private pilot's license. I am part of the Flying Panthers Flight School here at McClellan Field up in northern Sacramento, and I actually had an interview with Cliff Young, the president, to talk to us more about what exactly it means to be a part of a flight school. Cliff?
My name is Cliff Young. I'm president of Flying Panthers Flight School in Sacramento. We're based out of McClellan Airfield. Flying Panthers is a nonprofit flight school. So we're a Part 61. Two kinds are a Part 61 and a Part 141. The difference is you have to ask yourself if you are, what your desire is ultimately. If you want to be a professional pilot and move into the commercial aspect of flying, that's a Part 141 usually. If you're interested in recreational enjoyment of flying, then you generally choose the Part 61. It'll take between $10,000 and $12,000 is basically a good ballpark for that. Some people can get it done for a little bit less, some for a little more, but that's pretty much what you're looking at. Where's the closest? You know, there's airports, large and small, and 141s are in both, and Part 61s are in both. So proximity to where you are, a familiarity with the area, and comfort zone you have with your speed of learning. The aviation community is a rather tight-knit group, and they take care of each other, and they're very interested in bringing people into the fold, as it were, because we love to fly, it's in our blood, and we think everybody probably would enjoy it if they're given the opportunity for the experience. So I think general aviation is a thoughtful group that really wants to see aviation be available for everybody and have everybody experience it. Anybody who's interested in flying, take a discovery flight and just go with an experienced certified flight instructor at your school of choice. Just experience it, see how it feels to you, and decide at that point, because you really can't make a determination without having the experience being in an airplane and talking to somebody.
Thank you, Cliff. Once you find your school, you want to reach out to them and see what it takes to get your training started. At these schools, they will show you everything you need to know about ground and written, along with flight training, your first solo, cross-country solo, and so much more. Their job is to prepare you for the private pilot check ride, where an examiner will observe your abilities as a pilot to safely navigate the sky. However, it's important to note that it's going to take a lot of hours of practicing and studying to get your license, but with the right determination, anyone can become a pilot. People come up to me a lot and say, Carson, I don't know much about aviation or where to begin. Well, what's really special about the aviation industry is that it is extremely inclusive and welcoming, especially for new pilots. However, there are a lot of organizations out there like the Experimental Aircraft Association, AOPA, and so many more to help new pilots get off the ground. I sat down with Gil Wright, the president of EAA Chapter 52. Gil?
Gil Wright. I'm the president of EAA Chapter 52 here in Sacramento, and I have a great passion for supporting youth about aviation. Well, EAA is a national organization that was founded over 60 years ago, and it's been a very important force within aviation. And during that time, they've helped aviation grow and support much of what is general aviation. It's always been it's a village, and people who have the dream of flight will oftentimes come to airports. And people who have learned to fly, somebody had to teach them. And so everybody's looking of ways to paying it forward to those who have the interest and the passion. Decades ago, kids who were interested about flying would go to the airport and they'd say, sweep the hangars out, clean the airplanes, and exchange, taking care of airplanes for rides and get their private pilot's certificate at that time. The one thing that I've come to realize and appreciate about aviation is that you can never learn it all. And if you're curious, your curiosity will take you to wherever you wish to take it. And there's a number of organizations that you can do things like EAA has a program called the Young Eagles, which is where kids who from age 8 through 18 are able to get their introductory flight on a small airplane. Then you can get a certificate for your first introductory hour in an airplane. At many of the flight schools, Sacramento Executive Airport has a number of flight schools. Lincoln as well as Auburn have flight schools. And you just kind of go see what local airports there are and see what's available. Aviation's an amazing journey, and keep in mind that when you travel 1 mile on a road, you've traveled 1 mile. If you travel 1 mile from an airport, you can fly to anywhere on the planet. Huge amounts of aviation there. Interesting piece about Sac City College is that the founder of Sac City College, Hilton Lusk, he actually saw the Wright brothers flying circus in 1910 as a kid. And he was so inspired by that, he learned how to fly, and he actually helped set up and establish Sac City College's aeronautics programs in the late 1920s and early 1930s, so people could learn how to work on airplanes and fly them. That's a resource here in Sacramento that it's always, you never know where aviation is going to take you, nor, more importantly, where an inspiration may take a youth. But I strongly urge families to embrace that exploration because it'll change your family. It'll change your child's future too.
Flying has been a dream of mine for a long time. I plan to continue my career and one day become an airline pilot. But before I leave for college, I want to share the joy and excitement of flying high above the clouds. Looking down at everything and realizing that all the hard work was worth it. Anyone can be a pilot, so if you've ever had an interest, I encourage you to look into it, and maybe you'll find that same love and passion for aviation as I have. We are here to support you. See you in the sky.